Okay, so my daughter's video, Brooke Blair, my daughter's video has went viral. It went a bit nuts. And she did a video, it's on this channel, where she is telling Theresa May off. Theresa May is currently the UK Prime Minister. She's in charge of what's going on. And Brooke did a video, and some of you've seen it. If you haven't, it's like, this is nuts. Like, it's had half a million views, maybe more. It's ridiculous. And I wanted to sort of give my side of what it was about, and whether I had was like prodding her with a stick to make her do it. I definitely wasn't. So it came about, Brooke's always been interested in homelessness. When she saw someone homeless on the street and she said, "Mommy, why is that person on the street?" And I said, "Oh, darling, he doesn't have a place to live." Obviously, because she's inquisitive and children are naturally like that, she said, "Well, why?" And so I said, "Well, there's many reasons," and we talked very vaguely, and that was a long time ago. And she's always had a bit of a, she cares a lot about people. So anytime we see homeless people, she always says, "Oh, Mum, give them some money." And she always, well, she's done it with other people as well. And I always feel really proud that she wants to do that and she cares. And she's always been, if she ever sees like adverts on telly where it's like Save the Children and stuff like that, where it's like, give £3, and she'd always say, "Why do they need, why can't they just get water out of the tap, Mummy?" And I'll say, "Well, unfortunately, some places don't have fresh water, and it's, they have to decide between drinking really dirty water that could make them very, very sick, or they don't have anything and they would die anyway." So, the kids ask so many questions. Children aren't stupid. And so she's always done that. And, children, they take things in and then they listen. And we are a really open household, so we allow conversation. Obviously, it's child friendly, and, and we'll give them as much as they need. But we allow conversation, we allow children to question who does what. And she's currently also a bit annoyed at the Queen, so I'm sure that will come up at some point. But she's annoyed that the Queen's got money and she feels like we shouldn't be paying for the Queen. Because she said to me, she asked, the fact is, we do pay for the Queen, okay? And whether you argue that they bring in revenue because of having people coming over to see the Queen, this, as far as I'm aware, the statistics don't balance out. We pay more out than we get back for the Queen, okay? And that's just what's happening. So if she asks me that, I will tell her, but I will always give Brooke a different side. I will always say, "Look, this is my view," or obviously not if it's factual, but I will say, like, "This is my view. I don't particularly like this person, or I don't believe this, but other people disagree with me. And you don't have to agree with me. We've had a conversation about this where I've said, you don't have to agree with me on things. It's fine." And I never force things down my children's throat. Obviously, children will naturally follow a lot of what their parents say at this stage. But that video was prompted because we went to Leamington Spa in the Midlands, and Brooke saw homeless people, and we had about 2 hours to kill. So she was asking me so many questions. Who's in charge? Theresa May. What does she do? Blah, blah, blah. How do you get in charge? Can I be in charge? So we talk about the voting system. "Mummy, why can't you buy houses for everybody?" "Because I can't afford to buy houses for everybody." "Well, give him some more money, Mum." "Yeah, but darling, I can't keep giving just one person money because it's not really solving the problem." Well, and it went on, and we asked lots. And I do answer their questions because they're inquisitive, and it's good that they ask questions. And they're compassionate children. Both of my children are the same. And so Brooke then had a bit of a bee in her bonnet about Theresa May, because she felt like, well, she's got the money, so she needs to sort this out. This is not good. Children see things in black and white. She said, "I want to write a letter." And then she said, "Can I do a video?" Because she sees me do videos, so she knows that I do that, and that can happen. She said, "If I do a video, Theresa May might see it." And I thought, you know what? Let's let her do it. Let her put her political voice up there if she wants to. There's nothing wrong with it. When I was younger, I was allowed to speak freely in my own home and have political debate if I wanted to, and that's totally fine. And it certainly shaped me to who I am today. And so when we did the video in here, in Texie's room, I did have to record it more than once. And this was on her say, because she didn't think she did it right, and she wanted to do it, not say as much as she said. She got mixed up, and so I had to do it about 3 or 4 times. And I was laughing my head off because she's so expressive in her little ways and so grown up, and it's so sweet, and it is completely and utterly her words. In fact, I was quite surprised when she said about the wars. I didn't, that wasn't something that we just a recent conversation. It actually came about, I think, when she saw something on the news. The news was on in the background. I don't really watch the news, but someone had flicked the channel over and the news was on, and it was to do with when Paris had happened, I think. And she was like, Mom, all this has happened. I saw this on the news. And I said, oh God, you know, no idea. I don't watch the news, so I didn't know it had been put on. And I said, oh, you know, well, these things happen. These things, awful things can happen. And we had to discuss that at the time. And it was, you know, obviously at some point I've said, well, we have had wars and sometimes there's repercussions of that. And, you know, whatever, we've had this, at some point that's come up, but it was not recent. So when she put that two and two together and you know, she's saying we've put money into that or whatever, I thought that was really quite clever. And I was really proud that she was able to sort of recognise that and pick facts out herself and build up a picture. So since then, I put this video on a bit ago, if you remember, wasn't like 2 days ago, whatever, and over the last week it's went massive because it went on to a few other pages, political pages. Now Brooke, since that video went out, has asked me every day whether Theresa May has seen her video, and I've had to say, well, no, but a few people have been, you know, positive, and you know, certainly like a few homeless people even commented and said nice things about what you're doing, and you know, I've kept her updated with everything. But some of the comments on some of the, I don't know if it's on here or on Facebook, have been, one, I'm indoctrinating my children. Right, indoctrination is where they don't have their own view. I allow my children to have their own view. I will give them my view. I will give them other people's views. And obviously my view, you know, I think I'm right in my views. Any parent would. So I'm obviously going to say things like sharing is good, and we are a very rich country and there shouldn't be people sleeping on the streets. But I think that's fairly fucking factual. And so, tough shit if I'm telling that, because that's good. But there's no indoctrination. I was not stood there going, you've got to do this now, you've got to do this. This is all, she makes her own mind. She's a smart little cookie, and many children are at that age because they see things black and white. Second, comments, we had things like, I hate precocious child stars. First of all, I was on television as a kid, you wankers, and so what? Yeah, do you know what? Sometimes it does look a little bit precocious. Children, when they're very, you know, vocal and articulate, and they seem like little mini adults. But do you know what? Those mini little articulate children grow up into lovely articulate young adults, and we have to think of a longer game than that. It isn't just about, oh, children should be children. And what people say when they mean that is we should fill them full of sugar, let them watch loads of YouTube videos of like adverts, and watch you know, loads of television, and just chuck them in front of an iPad and give them loads of sweets and mute them down, shush, keep them quiet. That's what they mean. And children are naturally loving and compassionate, and they see very no nuance. It's just black and white, and that's how they see things, and that is just it. And whether that bothers you adults and you feel that she's precocious, that's your own fucking filters, that's your own shit going on. Work that out for yourself. What else was said? That it's wrong to put my political views. Look, politics is everything, you morons. Politics isn't just political bigwigs with their suit and ties on, you know, in Parliament. You know, it isn't just that. Politics is everything. Politics is what we do every single day, what the streets we walk on. It's everything, and children like to talk about stuff like that. Brooke asks me so many questions. We've had just this week, where does hair come from? Or Brooke asked Ross, Dad, you know everything, where does it come from? So we have constant questions, and questions are good. Children learn, and it's wonderful. So all of you adults who have an issue with a child speaking their mind, not my mind, that's your issue. Pass that back to you. That's your shit going on. And I am very, very proud of Brooke. She's a compassionate, lovely, kind-hearted little girl. And she's a total nerd at the moment, and long may it continue. And I'm sure, yes, those commenters, I'm sure she will be mortified when she looks back, as will I in a few weeks when I look back at some of my own videos that I put up here. And you know what, so what? It's all fun, and she will look back and know that I was 5-year-old innocence. And, you know, she comes from a long line of ranters. I'm a ranter. Her dad's a ranter. Her granddad is a very vocal ranter. My granddad was a very vocal ranter. And yes, they are all people who stick up for the underdog. And my dad was a shop steward. My granddad was a shop steward. They were union men and they helped people out. And my granddad used to bring people. My dad used to tell me a story, made me laugh, but he used to wake up and there'd be like a man cleaning the spoons at the bottom of his bed. That's someone that my granddad had like helped out and brought back home. There was once an American bloke called Chuck that my grandma had to take into Newcastle City Centre and get rid of, like just lose him because he wouldn't leave. So we come from a long line of people that give a shit, and I think that's a pretty good stock to come from. And if anyone else has a problem, it's your problem.